Good evening and welcome to this virtual She Codes event and information session. Tonight we are going to be talking about the She Codes Plus program coming up this year. I am your facilitator. My name is Sophie. You may or may not know me. I've been involved with a few of the programs in the past, and I'm also a She Codes Plus alumna. So the goal of our session is to provide you all with some information about applying for this year's Plus program. I'm going to answer all of your questions, hopefully. If we don't get to all of them, we will give you the avenues by which to get that information. And we're also going to hear from a couple of our spectacular She Codes Plus alumni, Tracy, who you can probably see, and Jessica. And also on the call, we have Angela, who is our operations manager. We're not going to be interviewing her, don't worry, but I may interrogate her later on for answers to questions that I don't have answers to. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which each of us are respectively sitting, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So, the goal of She Codes, what is the goal? So we want to create an inclusive community of 100,000 by 2025. I mean, it's a pretty lofty goal. I didn't set that goal. Kate did, and she's super ambitious. So let's see if we can actually get there. 100,000 women, and our definition of women covers people who identify as women as well. So we look into non-binary too. We teach technical skills. We want to build career pathways, and we want to inspire women all over Australia, not just in Perth, but in Brisbane, in Sydney, and soon to be hopefully Melbourne, to code. That is our reason for doing what we do. And I'm sure you have all of your own personal reasons for doing that too. And just some really interesting statistics which really drive this program are that, did you know that only 31% of technical roles are held by women? And that's just technical roles, by the way. That's roles in technology. That's not necessarily the roles that are actually developers or programmers. That statistic is a lot lower. 75% of growing jobs are going to require technical skills in the future. And by 2025, 1 million tech workers are going to be needed. So as women, we want to be breaking into that and taking advantage of the jobs that are soon to be available to us. So if you are interested in the Plus program, you're probably going to have some questions about what are you actually going to learn from this program? Sorry, that was my dog. I don't know, he found something out there. So what are we going to learn? There's a bunch of stuff that you're going to learn. It's going to be a whirlwind adventure of learning. Some of the things, and this is not an extensive list, this is just a very short list of some of the main things. HTML and CSS, those are the first two programming languages that we're going to touch on. JavaScript, which you may or may not have heard of. It is one of the most powerful languages, and it basically drives the internet. React, which is to do with JavaScript. Python, so if you know Python, you probably don't need to do this course, or maybe you do. But Python is really great for data analysis and that type of programming. We also use it in cloud computing and infrastructure. Django, which is related to Python. The way that we teach this program is super, super project-based. So each thing that you learn, you're actually going to build something using that skill. So by the end of the program, you come out with basically a portfolio, which is exactly what potential employers are going to be looking for. They don't want to know that you can do something. They want to see that you can do it. And it's more than just coding. So yes, you're going to look at all these technical skills, but you're also going to look at some more soft skills as well. So you're going to practice presentation skills. You're going to work with others. By the way, one of the most important things for getting a potential dev job is being able to work in a team, especially on a coding project. Employers want to know that you can work well with others. You're going to look at some really great presentations from guest speakers. So we always have, sorry, I don't know what just happened there. Present. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to have presentations from amazing speakers. We usually get mentors in or industry leaders in, other developers in to give presentations. We want to build your self-confidence, and more than anything, we want to build a community for you so that you have people that you can talk to in the community. You have a network. That's how you're going to get a job afterwards. We do have some scholarships on offer. So there is Return to Work Scholarship. We have Neurodiversity Scholarship, First Nations Scholarship, and we have a few community placements as well. So we do have a commitment to diversity within the program, and that is the reason for a lot of these scholarships being offered. Okay, so if you want to see some of these pretty slides.
There we go.
There's
yeah, that I was like, okay, this makes more sense now. But I was just sort of doing your own intro before we went into it or something.
So I had two windows open, both with the slides that I could reference it separately if I needed to. And obviously it wasn't looking at the one that I thought it was looking at. So here's my face. This is the introduction slide. Here's some of the amazing statistics. Yeah, there's Fernanda.
And she works in industry now, guys.
Things that you're going to learn: HTML, CSS, JavaScript and React, Python, Django. Hopefully my accent wasn't too strong and you were actually able to understand the slide. More than just coding, inspirational presentations, working with others, building your self-confidence, a network of peers. Oh, amazing. Scholarships, so Return to Work, Neurodiversity, First Nations Scholarship, and we have community placements as well. So just to recap with the slides. Partners. Yay! So you can see this. Okay.
Yes, I was like, because this bit's really important, because like it would literally not happen without these people.
Yeah, no, this is really, really important. Thank you so much for interrupting and helping with that. RWWA. I don't know all of these, but I do know this one. I work for Canva. Cache Converters, Pawsey, Matrix Data, RAC, Mount.
And I saw we actually have a Pawsey person watching today. I was like, hello, yay, for joining sponsor.
That's awesome. Yes. So all of these amazing companies are helping to make this possible. They are sponsoring this program.
Oh, 3 Pawsey people are watching today. Huge shout out to Pawsey.
Thank you, Pawsey people. We appreciate you. And really like your logo as well. Space Cubed as well. So Space Cubed has supported She Codes throughout this entire time. It is a part of the Space Cube community organization. And so Space Cubed is a home for entrepreneurs, innovators, change makers. You probably know it as a co-working space, but they do so many things across the community. And you've probably been to a Space Cubed event at some point. Okay, so what has the Plus program achieved in the past? Why are we encouraging you to apply for this program? Well, it is really successful. So I was actually shocked by this number, and I have taught the Plus program many times. I've been a part of the Plus program, and I've personally known lots of people who've been through it, but I was still shocked to find that 85% of alumni have actually pivoted into technical roles. That's incredible. That is high success rate right there. 95% relevance of content in the real world. 9 out of 10 people would recommend She Codes programs, and 100%, that is a perfect score, think that they will use at least one of their newfound skills in the future. That's awesome. Okay, here are some key dates for the diaries. I'm really glad that you can actually see this one because there's a lot of so the program is already launched, as in we have launched the pre-program stage, and applications opened earlier this month, on the 9th of June. This is the 30th of July, not June. So you have over a month left before the applications close. So you have plenty of time to work on your application if you're planning to apply. After that, we are going to spend a few weeks shortlisting, interviewing people. And then on the 22nd of August, we're going to announce who is in the cohort. So it is a whirlwind between now and the cohort announcement. Make sure that you put this in your diary, mark that down. We don't want you to be late and not get your application in on time. And then the cohort is going to start on the 26th of September. We'll have an orientation session before that. And it is going to go from September into September until mid-April, where you will have your showcase. So you're going to pack a whole heap of learning into the program right there. And then we will celebrate together where this lovely fireworks is happening. We won't have actual fireworks. You're just going to have to enjoy the slide. Modules and dates. So in the middle of the program, so from the 26th of September to the 9th of April, bunch of things that you're going to learn. As I said before, HTML and CSS, Python, Django, DRF, that's Django as well, but it's used in a different context, JavaScript and React, and then you do a group project. There's a bunch of stuff that you're going to have going on there. You do have some break weeks as well, so you can plan, you know, things during those break weeks. I would encourage you that if you do apply for the program, make sure that you're going to be available for the dates when you have these modules going on. We don't want you falling behind, so do check your calendars and make sure that you have this available if you're going to apply. Classes are not available virtually, so you will need to be there in person to attend the sessions. And they are going to be held at RIF. If anybody's not been to RIF before, it's on St. George's Terrace. It's one of Space Cube's venues. Oh, and I should say Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings. Reason that we do that is so that because we want to fit it around schedules for people who may be working and taking care of kids. People have lives, we understand that. Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings we have found to be the most compatible with people's schedules in the past. To be eligible, you must identify as a woman. You must be over the age of 18. You must have the right to live and work in Australia, so have a visa, be able to attend at least 80% of classes. This is super, super, super duper important because we don't want you missing out on crucial information and then falling behind and getting stressed. So we want you to be there for 80% of the classes at least, and be able to spend about 5 hours a week outside of classes on projects and other extracurricular activities. Most importantly, we want you to have a passion and a desire to learn. So we want to see that you have goals and that you have a passion and a drive for this thing. And obviously submit your application by July 30th, that should say, or 29th, I think. Applications close on July 29th. And here is where you can find out all this information, by the way. What is a SheCoder? Okay, so this is stuff that we want you to be thinking about before you start writing your application. We want to see that you have passion, okay? Tell us your personal story. What is your journey been like? Okay, what is your goal? How are you going to apply these technical skills in the future? Do you have a plan? Is there a particular role that you would like to be in? Or maybe you don't have a particular area that you want to get in at the moment. You want to learn lots and things and then maybe choose your adventure afterwards. But tell us that. Tell us what's driving you to apply for the program. Also, we want to see, are you interested in giving back to the community? A lot of SheCoders do that. We've got Tracy on the call. We've got Jessica on the call. We've got me on the call. Thank me, you know, I thank myself. We'd like to give back to the community. You know, it's a circle of life thing, Lion King, you know. So will you be interested in giving back as well? Diversity. So, you know, as women, we are a diverse element in the tech community, but is there another element of diversity that you can bring to the program as well? Tell us what makes you special, what makes you unique. Tell us about your Pokemon Go adventures. I don't know. Give us some of your personality in your application. Some of the things that you're going to need to answer, okay? So there's 3 main questions. Why do you want to be part of the SheCodes Plus program? So include your story. Why is now the right time? That's also an important thing. We want a 1-minute video. And I know that might seem kind of scary. And honestly, when I did my video, I hate watching myself. I think I recorded it maybe 20 times before I had one that I could stomach. But don't worry, we're not judging your video. We're just wanting to see a little bit of your personality in there. So just a 1-minute video telling us about your career aspirations and how you're going to achieve your goals through the Plus program. And another question, how much experience have you had in coding and software development or tech so far? We have had people in the past who've actually done entire degrees in computer science, but maybe it was like 10, 15 years ago, and tech moves really quickly and they feel like they needed to get back into it through using the Plus program. That's also could be your journey. So tell us about that. If you would like to apply now, here is the handy dandy link, shecodes.com.au/program/plus. So go ahead and you can apply for the Plus program. 1 second. I need to move this over here. You can take a look at my tabs again, where I have my egg meals. I can't believe you were seeing that the entire time.
And this is like what we were looking at, and I was like, interesting. Tell me more.
I recently started a bit of a health kick, and I'm like, well, everything has eggs in it.
Busy person that I do look at
Not eggs. Anyway. Okay, we are now going to move to the portion of the evening where we're talking to our panel. Can you still see these slides, by the way? These ones here? Yeah? Okay, awesome. I'm actually going to take the slides off, okay? And we can talk to our two amazing alumni.
Wait, before you take it away, can you just put your blue thing by the She Codes, Business Development Manager, She Codes? I just can't get over that. Look.
Right there.
Yeah.
Tracy Rothery, Business Development Manager at She Codes, her official job title. Congratulations on the job.
Cool to see that.
And Jessica Heck, full stack developer at BHB, also amazing. Congratulations, Miro. So I'm gonna just stop sharing, okay? And we're gonna get into some questions. Hold on. What is Canva? I mean Canva, so good. Canva's great. I work for Canva. That was a joke. Okay, so Jessica and Tracy, just unmute yourselves. I'm going to have so many questions for you. So can we start with Jessica, actually? Jessica, can you introduce yourself? So obviously your name, what do you do, and maybe a fun fact.
So I'm Jessica. I'm a full stack developer at BHP. And a fun fact is that I like to make my own clay miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons.
I did not know this about you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to talk. Tracy, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Fun fact as well.
I am a business development manager. I work for She Codes Australia. And I was going to say the fun fact was that I can muster sheep on horseback, but because of yours, Jess, I will instead say that I've been in a mini D&D campaign, and I like that the fact that you can actually physically make the models is like another level.
Not all of them are great though, to be fair.
But like fun.
It's very fun.
Do you have a particular character that you that you play? Are you like chaotic good, or like what's your vibe?
I try to go with like the chaotic good generally.
I
tried the chaotic neutral, but it's just too.
You play yourself. Jessica, moving along.
Yeah, sorry.
Not that I wouldn't love to discuss Dungeons and Dragons all night. I'm actually currently playing Curse of Strahd. It's great. What led you to choose the She Codes program as your pathway into learning how to code? Like, what made you go for that?
So I decided that I wanted a career change first and foremost. And so I started looking for courses that were, I suppose, going to help me get there. I'd been doing some online courses, and I really struggled with them when I had questions that I couldn't find answers for. So I chose She Codes because it's designed for women. And so I knew it would be a safe space and I would be like accommodated for, I suppose. And also the hours, the fact that the classes are on at times where I could still work full time and learn was a huge bonus for me. And then looking more into the people who'd been on the Plus program before and learning about the community and the ongoing support, it just sold it for me. So those were my main reasons for pursuing the She Codes Plus program.
Fantastic. And Tracy, same question to you. What made you choose She Codes?
Yeah, so I had been working in like a technical environment for a while, I guess on the other side of the fence. And then I had done a She Codes, I'd come across like a She Codes one-day workshop, which I did, which I really loved. And it really piqued my interest. Who doesn't like making turtles? Do fun things. And then I ended up applying and doing Flash, which is like a 1-week program that they'd run. And for me, that was sort of like the light bulb moment, because obviously that's a bit like longer than the 1-day workshop, And it was the first time I had like really been exposed to something like Python a bit more in depth, and I really loved it. And then it was sort of just like a light bulb had gone off my head, and I was like, oh wow, I really want to like jump the fence and move from this side of, you know, the technical space into that side. And I guess applying for Plus, which was very scary and lots of imposter syndrome because I almost didn't apply, which is why everybody who's in this
Oh my God, same.
yeah, I see, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, like what? Who would even? I like just. I'm just me. Yeah. So like, you don't know, right? Unless you give something a go, and you never know if you'll get in or not unless you're in it to win it. I can't believe I said that. But yeah, like you get my point. And for me, it's exactly like Jess said about the community. As you can see, like it's just a really unique. Also for me, obviously it's the full circle thing. I'm coming back and mentoring. I'm spreading awareness. I'm raising funds for She Codes at the moment in Sydney. So if anyone knows people in Sydney, definitely send them my way because we would love to do another program there. You know, like it's this. It creates a world where you can end up being a full stack software developer, but you could be a project manager or you could be a BA. It's to get more women into technology, or people who identify as women, you know?
Okay, so you vibed with the mission statement as well. It's like something that you believe into. That's awesome.
Yeah, like it really connected with like one of my core values, which is like all about getting different people into technology. Because the more of us that are, I mean, like it makes my life way nicer, someone who works in tech, to have more people, more women working in tech. It actually does improve my work experience. So selfishly, I actually also really love having more women in the workforce around me.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. We just rock.
Yeah, basically.
Jessica, what advice, and I'm sure everybody's going to be really interested in this answer, but what advice would you give to someone who is accepted into the program?
I suppose my first piece of advice would be gentle on yourself. It's hard to learn a new skill, and that can be really scary and challenging. And for me personally, there were definitely times throughout the program where I felt really stupid. But the great thing about the program is that you have a community around you and everyone's in the same boat. So as long as you learn to accept that feeling and know that that's absolutely just a part of learning and ask lots of questions, the community will rally around you and support you. So be really gentle on yourself, get used to feeling like you don't know what's going on, and just make sure that you connect with people and ask the questions if you get stuck. Because for our cohort, there was sort of like a critical mass moment where one person finally said, oh, I'm really struggling with this particular thing. And everyone just breathed a sigh of relief and was like, oh, me too. And it just made the rest of the course so much easier. So everyone feels the same way. Don't be harsh on yourself.
Yes, love that, and can definitely relate to it as well. Tracy, same question. So for anybody who's accepted into the program, what would be your advice?
Well, definitely reiterate, like I have got one to say, but I will just also back what Jay said completely. Like there's a person, I think you guys would have mostly met Maria, who did the one-day workshop the other day. She did the course with me, and she was that person. I remember sitting next to her and thinking like, oh, because she'd done a bit of coding before, like the course, like done some like pre-ambling into it. And I'd really just done Flash and like a little bit, like very small amount myself. And then I remember her turning to me and being like, I have no idea what's going on. And it just made me feel so much better. And then our whole table was literally just like, me too. Like, so yeah, what Jess said is like, I think that's a really good tip, that you should be more open to doing that at the beginning. And like they talk about this thing called the pit of despair, and to understand that you might all reach it at different points. Like I'm me, so like me reaching the pit of despair wasn't the same time as everybody else. Like I remember some people might reach it sooner, and I have like just this crazy amount of endorphins going around in my head. But I definitely got there. Sophie's like, I don't know if I believe that. Yes, Sophie, I was in the pit of despair. Um,
No way.
one place, but you obviously come back out of it. But it's just that feeling of like, exactly, like you don't know anything, but you do come back from it, and it's actually the people around you, you're all in the same boat. Not everybody is going to be an expert coder, and even if someone has done some coding before, it might be, something really different to what you're doing in the course. And in the course as well, you're learning more than just technical skills. So someone might have some better technical backgrounds to you, but then I guess like value yourself, and like the course builds a lot of confidence in you. So I would say try to take away from the course not just the technical side of things, because there's obviously a lot of really good technical skills, but the course will actually, if you let it, give you a lot of like personal development skills, a lot of like networking skills, a lot of confidence building. Like it's there to be like a platform for you to step into many different directions.
Awesome. Yes. I'm going to kind of expand on that question just a little bit, because the first half was really fast. I blew through that presentation. So we have a little bit, we can draw these out. In terms of time management, because I feel like that tends to be like a real concern for a lot of people applying for the program.
Sure.
Managing their time during the program. How would you address that? Like, what advice would you give for time management?
I struggle with time management. I don't know what you're like with time management, yes, but I have like my concept of time is something I really do struggle with. When I'm in something and I'm doing something, it's like nothing else exists, but then I also spend far too long doing something that I probably shouldn't have been doing. So for me, this is definitely something that you learn, I guess. I had to learn by failing. Like I remember with the first time I did front-end development, you get so focused on like stuff that doesn't matter. Like all the little details, like getting things exactly right. When what I really should have done is just focused on just getting everything sort of working, kind of looking-ish right, and then going back and like fixing it.
Done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect.
Great.
Done is better than perfect.
Jessica, would you have anything to add to Tracy's advice?
Yeah, pretty much the same stuff Tracy said, and I've found time boxing is another really good one. So for me, I kind of get lost in what I'm doing, but I also reach a point where I call it brain mush. My brain is just foggy, it turns to mush, and I can't get past the problem anymore because I'm just not, there's too much going on. And so I like to time box, allocate a certain amount of time to a problem, set an alarm, because otherwise I will lose track of time. And then when that alarm goes off, if I haven't solved the problem, I will either, take a break, or I will ask for help at that point, depending on how big the problem is. But also someone who is neurodivergent, neurospicy, I like to leave things till the last minute, and that's not good. These projects, they can be as big and as detailed as you want them to be at the end of the day. So really need to dedicate time outside of the classes, set aside a little bit of time every chance you get, essentially. And obviously everyone's time is different, what you have available, but just try and schedule it in, even if it's just small blocks. And another thing that we did in our cohort was try to set aside time with other members of the cohort. So if people were available on a Sunday, even if it was just online virtually, we would maybe spend half an hour online coding together. And that also helped, especially for those of us who have trouble keeping on track.
Awesome.
The last thing I'd say really quickly, if you feel like you're falling behind, just talk to your mentor about it. The sooner you identify that and have that conversation, the better you'll feel about it.
Absolutely. Would agree with all of that advice as well. Tracy, let's ask you this next question. What was your biggest challenge from the program, and what was your most unexpected win? So biggest challenge and an unexpected win.
Being pregnant and having a baby. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that the win?
My gosh.
I found out at the beginning of the course I was pregnant, a bit of a surprise. So that was I guess a challenge, physically, emotionally. There's a video actually, they do like the interview with you at the end. And it's quite funny because like I'm pregnant. And then I think at some point I even like point at my stomach in the video. And I look back at that video and I think, great, that's on the internet forever now. It's me pointing at my giant belly. Like any businesses that want to like see my like She Codes like chat about how the program was, it's just me being like, belly, baby, in the belly. There's like, yeah, anyway, so that's there on YouTube, guys. That's forever. But in all seriousness, I think for me, obviously, I really struggle with like, obviously, I'm a very confident person and an extrovert. So this might come as a surprise to you, but I do suffer with things like, you know, imposter syndrome and like definitely like I'm surrounded, well, the whole program, it feels like it's just all these amazing people, is how it felt for me. And it, like at the beginning, it kind of felt like, what am I doing here? And like everybody, I mean, I'm a business development manager, right? So like my job wasn't super technical. And then a lot of the people had maybe done like testing or have different kind of backgrounds. And I think for me, I really struggled with like something the course really helped me with was like learning to like value my skills and value myself. Like I always thought sales was like a really dirty word and I'd like talk about my job, but like describe it in a million other ways, but never mention the word sales. And I think like that is an asset and a skill that I can bring along with my technical side. And I think the course helped me to understand, I guess, through all of the mentoring and like being able to push yourself, that you have to push yourself so much in the course. You challenge yourself beyond what you think you're capable of. Like the projects and the pieces of work that I made, I guess like I was so surprised I could do that. And the feeling of having like made this web page and it looks so good. Sometimes you sit there and you're like, I made that, like I did that thing. It's just the best feeling in the whole world.
That's awesome. Yes, I saw a lot of your projects and they were awesome.
Thank you.
Jessica, same question. What was your biggest challenge and what was a win that you had?
My biggest challenge was probably the unrealistic expectations I put on myself. I had really hoped that, I don't know why I got it in my head that I was going to start doing Python and just get it straight away, because that's what I wanted to really learn. And I struggled real hard. And yeah, it is a lot to learn in a short space of time. So having, I suppose, like that imposter syndrome and dealing with feelings of, not being good enough or quick enough or all those sorts of things. That does eventually go away, I promise you. The community and your cohort, the support you get really, really helps with that. But it was a hurdle for me. And my most unexpected win was the feedback I got on my Python project. I did not think that I had done very well, and I got very good feedback, and I was so happy, like crying happy. So yeah, that was good.
So your biggest challenge turned into your biggest win.
Yes.
Yeah. That
Love,
tracks.
love
But like
that.
I feel like the Python one obviously had its challenges, but I also, that was like one of my favorite ones too, because it felt so good when you knew that it was like you that had worked out. I remember like also like when people come to you with things, like I felt like that was like something that was really like such a small little thing, but like I'm a nerd, obviously always do my homework and stuff. So like sometimes obviously like maybe someone hadn't done theirs or like hadn't quite done a bit or whatever. And then people come to you and they're like, how did you do this? Or like, why did you do this way? And even when you make little side projects together, like me and Suli sometimes would build like games or something together, just like for fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I'm a nerd, right? So like when I was doing the course, it was like I'm all or nothing kind of person. But like just little things like that. And like even her, Suli, who I was like, oh my God, she's so good at this. And like, she's one of the best in the class. And then her being like, hey, do you want to build this game with me? And me being like, yes. And being able to actually do it with her felt really good. You know, like, I think you do like, you don't realize until you sometimes are helping someone else, how much you know as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There are those teaching/learning moments throughout the program, aren't there?
Yeah.
Last question. Jessica, I'll ask you first. What advice would you give to women and to girls wanting to pursue a career in tech?
First piece of advice, don't let anyone tell you that tech is not for women. Pile of poo. You can absolutely do it if it's something that you want to do and that you're interested in. There are lots of pathways into tech. I think this has already been mentioned, but not everyone needs to go to university or go to TAFE. You can absolutely learn these skills and make a portfolio. I think it was Sophie that said, recruiters, they want to see that you can do it. So it's not the path for everyone. Find the path that works for you. For me, it was a lot of free online courses before I was like, yep, this is it. And then I applied for She Codes. And take every opportunity you can to network and build your community. So if there are free events, workshops, attend them, talk to people. That is coming from an introvert. I will probably go to bed early after this because that's how tiring this is. But do it. It's absolutely worth it. There are plenty of people out there that are in your corner. You just don't know it yet, and you've just got to find them. So you can do it. Find your path, and find your people.
Love that. Find your people. Really like that. Tracy, same question. What advice would you give to women wanting to go into tech?
I guess, please do it. We need so many more women in tech, and there's so many roles that you probably don't even realize exist. So you can contact someone like me. Like, I've worked in lots of different industries in tech, and I have like a bit of an overview, I guess. I'm such like the kind of person, I'm always happy to talk to anyone and help anyone with anything. But there's so many people like me that are involved in She Codes. Like, you will see a lot of the mentors give their own time, like Sophie tonight, just tonight, Angela, like, people give their time to this community because they really value what it's doing. So utilize that, and don't feel like you're a burden. Like, we wouldn't be in this community, we wouldn't be here if we weren't wanting to help. And like, it makes me feel amazing when I get to help someone and help them to move into a tech role. But basically my main thing is there's probably more roles than you realize. So like, understanding, I guess, like what you're good at, and also what makes you happy and what actually makes you excited. Because like, for example, yes, I am good at sales and I'm good at business development, but the reason I did She Codes and the reason I want to move into being a software developer once I finish helping out She Codes, which obviously I'm so happy to be doing, using my powers one last time for good, is, that technical aspect of myself I never got to utilize. And when I become a software developer, a lot of the time people with a big personality like me, an extrovert, people sort of put towards one direction. You might be an introvert, you might have different other personality traits. You might be really artistic, or a perfectionist. So people are putting you in administration roles, or people pigeonhole you. Oh my God, you're nodding. Someone's connecting with what I'm saying. That makes me feel so good. That's so sweet. But yeah, and so and you pigeonhole yourself. I did it for years. I was like, yes, I am that person that should be in this kind of role. You pigeonhole yourself too. So I guess have conversations with different people. The more people you talk to, the different types of opinions and ideas that you come across, you will find out. So like, that's the only reason I'm now so determined about being a software developer, and I'm not letting anyone pigeonhole me, is because like, you have your own agency and you can change through. So I might be a software developer, but I'm not putting pressure on myself where like, for some reason, this is my massive life passion now. If I do it and it isn't for me, I'm allowed to also change, that's something that's also really like big in my mind, because I have been manifesting this being a software developer thing ever since I did the course, and telling everyone that will hear it, I'm going to be a software developer. Then I suddenly woke up in the middle of one night and I was like, oh my God, what if I'm bad at it or something and it's terrible? You know what I mean? These are life skills. This course will set you up for many different aspects. And genuinely, like, if anyone is nervous about anything or needs anything at all, you can message me on LinkedIn. I'll have a conversation with you. Like, this program means so much to me. So anything I can do to help anyone, I'm really here to do that.
Amazing. Thank you, Tracy. That is all my questions. And so we have 15 minutes left. God, we are bang on time, by the way. So this is a time for, if you have any questions for any of the members of our panel, or maybe also for Angela, pop them into the chat now, and I will do my best to get through as many as possible before 7 o'clock. So do we have any questions for anybody?
I did see that Angela also put her email in there. She knows so much, and she's literally one of the most lovely human beings you will ever meet. So if she has said send me questions and she's given your email address, very nice of her. She's obviously like, she does operations, so she knows everything.
She is all-knowing.
She is all-knowing.
She's like God.
Yeah.
And there is also a link here to join us on Slack. Great idea. Please do join the Slack channel if you have not yet already. Yes, we love you too, Angela.
Oh, Claire Odewich, your own kind of girl. Good to know.
I have noted that down, by the way, alongside.
Oh, thank you. It's just like, I need to do that for later. I was like, how do I? Okay, I'm gonna hit you up about that later, Sophie.
Okay, do I have to have a relationship with one of the companies to apply to a scholarship? I'm gonna say no, but Angela, do you have an answer to that? No. Amazing.
Yeah, I can explain. I can maybe explain a little bit really quickly. So obviously companies like, for example, Canva can sponsor sheet codes, which they are. They can put forward like a person. Every person that they put forward will automatically provide a community spot. So if Canva places like, just say someone from their team that works in administration and they want to upskill them to become a software developer, that person can do the course, be upskilled, and at the same time that will automatically pay for a community member scholarship. Some companies will put forward like 6 or 7 people or more people, but then that will also automatically give community placement. So it's a 1-for-1 program. Every one person that is put through and funded by a business automatically then generates 1 community member, which is why we need funding, so that we can have the community element. So that's how I had my scholarship, was from the community. And then obviously like about a company like say Bunnings sponsored the program, enabling us to also have the funding. So if you work for a business and you think that they do provide, some big businesses provide funding for like programs and training and education, you can let them know about She Codes, and then they can fund She Codes, and you can go through your business, which means you're guaranteed a spot. Otherwise, you'd be like what I had to do, which is apply for the general community application and apply for a scholarship. So scholarship, if you're not going through your business, guaranteed placement if you can get your business to fund your seat. If that makes sense.
Yes. What if one cannot get a scholarship? So if you can't get a scholarship, I think Angela has an answer for this potentially.
So you can pay.
Are partially paid and paid, aren't there places?
Yes. So you can also ask me about this stuff, because that's literally what I have to like do every day at work at the moment.
Yes, she is the business development manager. She knows things.
Yeah, like my job is to basically fund programs and do all this stuff. So yeah, like yes, you can obviously pay for yourself to go through the program. So that is an option, of course. Yes.
Yes, there are 5 partially paid seats.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yes. Do we know what partially paid means yet? Do we know?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Question regarding the interview shortlisting process. From the timeline details, it seems this will be held in August. Will it impact at all being away from Perth during this time? Are the interviews going to be held face-to-face? I won't be in Perth during this time. Okay. So interviews, Tracy, do you know?
Yes, it's virtual.
Virtual, amazing. So somebody could say hop on a Zoom call if they're on the other side of the planet and have their interview then?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. My interview, I think actually was with Angela, maybe. I'm pretty sure I saw her face during the process. And I know the fact that she's in Brisbane.
Are there any finance options if you don't qualify for a scholarship? So there are 5 partially funded seats. So that's 50% of the price of the course is paid for. But financing options, I don't think we have any.
No, like payment plans to this point, we don't have anything like that. Those are the kinds of things, though, like you can email me and then I can raise it up with the team. I'll never say a hard no to anything, and I'll always try to like see what I can do. So reach out and then I can let you know from there.
Tracy, could you pop your email address into the chat?
Yes.
That would be amazing. Let's see. What is the cost of a seat if we are to discuss with our workplace? That's a great question.
Yeah, you can email me and I can send you the packs, but essentially the minimum would be for one person would be $20,000. Put this in perspective, like coding boot camps generally cost this or more. So it's essentially, that's, you know, the value that they're getting, as well as that they can also hire people from the program, as well as the fact that our social presence is like phenomenal. They get a lot of value, but that's the minimum for the placement.
So that is if a company wants to sponsor a seat, it's 20,000. Is that what you're saying?
It pays for
Okay.
two seats. It pays for their person, if the company wants to put someone through, or a community person, and then the community person. We don't just do one.
All right. And so if a seat is 20,000 and 50% is covered, does that mean that a partially paid scholarship means
No,
that
there's pricing. I think Angela will have it somewhere for the part. They can contact me and I can send them the rates. It is on our website.
you can pop your email address into the chat, or if Angela or if Tracy, you have a link to an information pack regarding pricing, I think that would be helpful for people. Yeah. Any other questions? I think we've got all those ones answered. If it's through the business, will they be the one interviewing?
No, so if it's through your business, there's no interview process. It's literally like, for example, BGW sponsored us in Sydney, and they can place who they want from their business into the program. So it's like a work, you know, like how businesses have people upskilled or provide like training and development programs for people. It would be like you working at Bankwest or BHP, and then this is a program that they offer that you can do.
Yeah, amazing. So they pop you into the program. They say, okay,
that's obviously the easiest way in. And if you work at a company that can afford to, you know, upskill you, which many businesses can do, often people don't ask until a lot of the time people don't realize that their businesses actually offer things like this. Like I was speaking to someone the other day and telling them to ask their business, and they came back to me, they were like, oh, that was really easy. They're happy to do it. I never would have asked if you hadn't said that. So
yes. Angela's answered, partially paid seats are $3,000 and they can be paid through a payment plan. So that's great news. That's really, really good. We have a question about play areas or creches. Unfortunately, we don't have any facilities like that at RIF. So that would have to be organized by yourself. Any other questions? That would be something cool to look into in the future, but yeah, difficult to organize, I think. Any other questions? We have 6 more minutes. We can even
what did you take out of the program, Sophie? You did it.
Out of the program?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, so much. I mean, honestly, the She Codes Plus program changed my life. Honestly, I learned so much through it, completely changed the direction of my career. Previously, I studied to be a translator, and then I found myself teaching English in Perth when I arrived over here from Ireland, and then decided I wanted to learn to code. So I started delving into YouTube tutorials and things like that, but needed people who would be able to encourage me and to invest in me. And I think that's really what I got out of the Plus program was a community, was people who could guide me along that journey, and who would be advocates for me when I started applying for jobs as well. So I think that was the biggest thing I took from it.
Oh, it's really
Thank you so much, girls, for what you are doing. So inspiring. Well, you're inspiring as well, Kate, and everybody who is here. Very, very inspiring. Wish everybody on this call could get a seat in the program. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That's literally my goal, guys. Like I'm trying. I'm out there. I'm telling businesses, trying to get their funding. That would be like it should be like that. It would be amazing if we had this like capacity to help everybody. It would be amazing.
That'd be incredible. Any more questions, or do we need to just ask Jessica about her Dungeons and Dragons clay model? Neurodivergent scholarship would be helpful. I know Tracy says she didn't have to submit her diagnosis, but if you don't have a formal diagnosis but believe you're on the ADHD or autism spectrum, okay, so do you need a formal diagnosis basically in order to apply for the neurodivergent scholarship? I'm not sure. Tracy, do you know?
I was in that situation.
I'll go ahead.
That's helpful. So when I applied, I was also under the belief that I may have ADHD or autism. And I'd only gone as far as booking an appointment with a psychologist to do a diagnostic assessment, had not been diagnosed, hadn't even really started the process. I was never asked what type of neurodivergence I identified with or for any kind of formal recognition of that diagnosis. So that's just my experience when I applied. If anything has changed or if you have any further information, please interject.
I mean, Angela's replied that you don't need a formal diagnosis. So that's great. That's really good because it is really hard to get a formal diagnosis.
I can imagine, like, not everyone is like, I mean, people tell me all the time that they think I have ADHD, but I've obviously never been diagnosed with it. But like, I have dyslexia, definitely. And like, that's only because in school, a teacher was like, like, told my parents to test me for it, but like not everybody has that teacher that notices, you know what I mean? Especially with girls. Apparently, like with things like dyslexia and also ADHD, we don't always present in like the typical ways, which is why like only as an adult now people are like, oh, women present, because Maria has ADHD. She was the one today actually telling me she thinks I have it. When I was telling her how I don't really have a concept of time, hence my rants that I go on when I talk. But yeah, so Sophie's like, I know those rants. But yeah, I totally think that that's such a lovely way that they do it because, yeah, and once again shows what like a safe space it is that they trust you to do the right thing.
Yeah.
By the way, I put the link in for the partnership pack, so you can just click on that and then you can download that if your workplace has any questions, or you can send that to someone at your work. Like usually it's the recruitment person. They generally like a good person to speak to because obviously they are really highly motivated to be bringing more resources into the business. So they often sponsor us. They're a good starting point for you to talk to in your business or your manager, of course.
Amazing. So I'm just going to pop those two email addresses into the chat for anybody who missed them. So that's Angela, angela@shecodes.com.au, and Tracy is yours, just tracy@shecodes.com.au.
I can see things in 3D. I'm Googling this afterwards. ChatGPT will be explaining this to me.
You can also find Tracy on LinkedIn, Tracy Rothery on LinkedIn. But do you have your email address there, Trace?
No, I'm just going to give them my LinkedIn.
Oh, amazing. Yes. So you can spam her on LinkedIn. But we are out of time. So if you do need any more information, you can hit any of us up on LinkedIn.
Before they go, can we do like a selfie with anyone who feels comfortable, like being in the
totally. Yeah. Can we? If anybody feels
extrovert energy, like right here. I know. I'm so bad.
Yes. We would love to take a selfie.
They didn't ask me to do this. Like, this isn't for work. This is just for fun because I really like doing this.
You can't help yourself, can you?
This is just Tracy. Oh, cute. You're in your car. I love that. Hello. Oh my God, those plants are amazing.
Hello.
Your ways. That's so impressive.
Oh my God, Luciana, I know.
Oh, I love this. Oh, I love seeing the faces. It makes me so happy. Hello.
Okay, are you taking that photo, Tracy?
Oh, yeah. Oh no, I was too busy like smiling at them.
I've taken it.
You were smiling the whole time, so I thought maybe she's already taken the photo.
Okay, sorry. That was just me being like obsessed with how cute everyone is. Happy birthday. Oh my God, I can't even. So cute. Okay. All right, let's do it. All right. So we're gonna do a selfie. Are you guys, wait, how do I, okay, I've got this. Okay. Capture screen. Yeah, this will work. Okay. We'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Selfie, I guess.
I
hope that worked. I was like, how do I give them the photo? I don't know, so.
If you join the Slack channel, maybe we can share it there.
I'll put it in the Slack channel. Thank you. Yeah.
in Slack. There is a link in the chat there, but you can also join the Slack channel. If you go to shecodes.com.au, there is a link there to join Slack. Slack is where we make lots of our announcements, and there's also loads and loads of people in there who will encourage you to apply for the Plus program. You can ask questions there too. So it's like, cool. I think we're going to wrap up there. It was so great to meet all of you. Thank you again to Jessica and to Tracy and Angela for answering lots and lots of questions. And we will hopefully see you in August.
Thank you.
Thank you.